So just like my day, my night is now shot in the ass. Although, I did get some stuff done this morning. So what we're talking about here is the 2020 Ford Escape SE with the 1.5 liter engine, and it doesn't have a belt tensioner on it, so you have to buy a special belt. None of the auto parts stores carry this special belt that is needed for this vehicle, and will argue with you even if you have the old belt in your hand. They will argue and say you are wrong. Why? Because their systems are not updated and they know no better. So what I ended up doing is I went to 3 different auto parts stores and called one on the phone just to kind of figure out, okay, what am I doing here? What's the situation going to be like? And am I going to have to make a trip to the dealership? Guess what? All right, so the old belt was that I had to return was $46.19. So that was accredited back to my account. Now, the alternator itself, that was $390.49 for the alternator. For the new belt, and this is going to be a kicker, but you got to understand, dealer prices are fucking nuts. $132.47 for dealer price for this belt. Now, what makes this thing so special? Well, it doesn't have the belt tensioner installed on the vehicle. For what reason, I don't know. For the 2020 Ford Escape's 1.5 liter engine with a turbo on them, it shows, everybody shows that it has a belt tensioner on there, but I don't have one. My car wasn't exempt for some reason, and I don't know why. They won't tell me, but I did find the belt. So the problem is when I returned the one belt, the guy says, well, let me see what I have. Okay, he pulls out a belt that is pretty much the same size as this belt here, but it has to be what's called an SF, stretch fit. The belt that they had in stock was not a stretch fit, so I couldn't purchase it. It wasn't the right part. I went to another auto parts store, brought the same belt with me, the used one, and they argued with me, and I'm like, well, here's the belt that came off the car, here's the numbers that are on the belt, and you can't cross-reference them? Well, no, they couldn't. Their computer system shows that I have a tensioner and I need the longer belt. All right, out the door. To another auto parts store, same problem. And the funny thing is that they will argue with you when you have the proof in your hand. They will still argue with you about this. So I made one more phone call instead of making the drive. So I called from the parking lot and talked to O'Reilly's and asked them about this. And they said, you know, you're not the only one who has had a problem with this. And we don't carry this belt in stock. I said, great, at least you know what the hell I'm talking about. And the guy was like, yeah, he was pretty cool about it and everything else. And it wasn't some young kid that I spoke to on the phone. Like every time I walk into a auto parts store, it seems like, you know, they're just teenagers that are running the show over there. All right, anyways. Off to the dealership. Call up the dealership where I purchased the car from, and they also said the same thing about the belt. You should have a tensioner on that vehicle for that year. I'm like, I don't. I says, I have the old belt. I'll bring it with me. And then the guy started looking on the computer, and he found that there is an exempt, and my vehicle is one of them. So he's got the belt. This is what's one-time use belt. You cannot use this twice. It is a stretch fit belt. It is the same size as the original one, but without the tensioner, it's going to be a little difficult putting on. Now, every body shop, every mechanic shop has a book that has basically the procedure, how many hours that procedure is going to take, and what the hourly rate for that procedure is going to be. Now, luckily, when the guy asked me, he says, well, how are you going to install this? I says, well, I kind of looked it up online, and they're kind of showing that you use a pair of channel locks or pliers and at the bottom of the pulley for the crankshaft, and use a socket and a breaker bar, over the nut that's on the crankshaft, and you turn it and it kind of pops itself back. He's like, yeah, you don't want to do that. He says, that's the way the shops are doing it, and it's kind of mars up the pulley, and it also could damage the belt. He says you don't want that. So he printed me up their sheet as far as the procedure goes. And this is, I guess, accessory belt drive vehicles built from 1 October 2020. So this here kind of shows exactly what to do and how to do it, which is kind of cool. And basically it's pretty easy. Is you take a zip tie and you turn the crankshaft to where the pulley has the opening in it, and you take a zip tie and you wrap it around. You use a large zip tie, not one of those small, dinky ones that is going to break right away. And then you take a nut, or you take a socket, and you put it on the bolt that is in the middle of the crankshaft, and use a breaker bar, and you turn. It tells you exactly which way and how much to turn it until that belt pops on, and then you're set. And it's kind of nice. But then it shows over here too, like the way that the belt is supposed to travel. And now right here is where that tensioner is supposed to be. Like I said, I don't have it on my vehicle. So this was kind of cool that they ended up giving me this with the belt. Now you know how the dealers do it. So if the dealer says, okay, we have to drop the engine in order to put this belt on your vehicle, you can call them out on their bullshit. That is just to charge more for an hourly rate. So this hopefully can help you guys, and maybe you guys can read this. I'm not sure if you can or not, but pictures mean a lot to it. So right here they're showing that this is the I want to say that's the air conditioner, but here's the photo that actually shows what they're doing here. So they put the belt around. The belt is loose going up to here. Now this is where they have the zip tie is right over here, and then you put the socket over the crank and you turn it clockwise, and that'll put it back on. Now the only problem is you have over here is sometimes it'll slip off of the water pump, so you want to make sure that that stays on. But you could do this without having to disassemble a bunch of shit on the vehicle. It's not that hard. Again, save yourself a bunch of money. Hopefully this helps you guys out, and you don't go through the same bullshit that I went through as far as doing this. All right, take it easy. Have a good one.